Here's how I lost $2 million not knowing these key aspects of real estate. Let me get into it right now. So the first thing is, when I first got into real estate, I got a couple houses under contract. Now, early on, when I was learning about real estate, all I heard from all the gurus was make sure you get the house under contract. They just kept stressing it. Make sure you get the house under contract. Make sure you get the house under contract. Well, what's great is I took their advice and I got the houses under contract. Unfortunately, I had no clue what to do once I actually got the house under contract. So one of the properties I got under contract was in West Palm Beach, Florida. This house that I got under contract is one that I'm really kicking myself for even to this day, because it was a really big number that I could have made had I just put a little bit more time in understanding more aspects of the business or connecting with the right people. Now, this particular house is in an area that's incredibly desirable, and this house in particular is one that I've been looking at for a little while. So I drove around initially until I found this house, and after I found this house, I got out and I knocked on the door. Knocked on the door of this person, they answered, and I asked them if they'd be interested in selling their property. Thankfully, they said that they would be interested in selling their property. So after a little bit of back and forth with all of us, I ended up getting the house under contract. Now, here's where the part of the money is that I lost. During this time, this is now during COVID. During COVID, there was an explosion in the real estate market. Now, this house in particular is one that if I would have got it under contract and moved forward with it, I would have had it under contract at $375,000 and closed at that number. Now, the reason why I got it at $375,000 and what made it a really good deal is because right next door to it, on the same, or owned by the same owner, was a second lot. Now, that second lot, as well as the existing house itself, land value alone, both of them were worth about $125,000 each, just for the dirt. Now, the reason why this guy was selling this house to me at $375,000 is because he had been there about 30 years, and code enforcement drove around and over the years saw his property had overgrown hedges. He had cars in the driveway that he wasn't supposed to have there. His house was falling apart. His roof was deteriorating. He had a number of issues that led code enforcement to his property and starting to issue fines against him. Now, something that this particular owner didn't know is how he could move about getting these code violations corrected so that he can continue to live in his property. He was one of those people that didn't have a lot of money to his name. He just happened to buy a house in an area that just exploded over the last couple decades. Now, the benefit with that is that it's not truly a benefit. It's unfortunate, the situation that he was in, but he was looking to move on in and of itself. Once I got the property under contract and we had all of our back and forth, I then tried to figure out what can I do to actually close on the property. So one of the things that I lost out on, and that's because I didn't know about hard money. Now, hard money is where you get people who are real estate professionals and they will lend money so you can do your real estate deals. Now, at that time, I had no clue what hard money was, so I had no idea that I could even use them. Now, the reason why it's really important is because had I learned about hard money during that time, what I could have done is I could have reached out to one of these people and they could have given me a loan. Typically, they'll offer loans 75%, 80% loan to value. So what that means is they're going to look at your after repair value, which is the value of the house once it's all fixed up, right? So let's say you have a house under contract at $100,000. Let's say once it's fixed up and renovated, the house is worth $250,000. They're essentially going to give you 75 or 80% of that $250,000 valuation. So had I been able to connect and learn about hard money from one of these individuals, I would have been able to secure that property and get it purchased so that I wouldn't have to lose the deal. Now, what's really interesting about this one is that the margins on this house were so fat because one lot sold very recently for about $1.2 million. That's just for one single house on a lot. Mind you, this house that I have under contract at $375,000 is for two lots. One of them had a house and the other one was a piece of dirt. I realistically could have taken both of those lots, bisected them, sold off the empty lot to help cover the cost of what I needed to purchase the one lot and be able to own that free and clear. Now, because I didn't know about hard money, and had I have known about hard money, I would have asked them, hey, what can you offer me in terms of money to be able to purchase this deal? And I know that when the deals are really good and your margins are really fat, hard money lenders will go even up to 90%, sometimes 100% of the purchase price, because they know worst case scenario, if you default on that loan, they're going to pick up that property and they're going to take it on themselves, and they're going to have a nice piece of equity that's going to be in their pocket. So that's the first thing that I missed out on. Second thing I didn't know about was wholesaling. Wholesaling is where you get a house under contract, you then take that contract and you sell that contract to another investor. Why is that really important? Well, again, I had no idea what to do with this house once I got it under contract. If I had another person that I could have reached out to, another investor, especially one with some deeper pockets, they would have paid money for that contract. That is incredibly powerful, because in the worst of all situations where you have nothing you can do, you can make $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, depending on the margins, and literally just sell them that piece of paper. Now, some states, wholesaling is illegal. I don't know what state you guys are in, but here in Florida, wholesaling is legal, right? But there are some rules behind it as far as how you conduct the business. But if I get it under contract and I then sign that contract over to someone else, that is entirely legal. So that would have been another powerful way. The third way in which I really lost out on this deal, I didn't know about partnering. So aside from wholesaling it, right, and aside from the hard money route, had I have just partnered with someone on the deal, I could have then closed on it. Now, one person that I could have partnered with was someone who I had as a client a long time ago. Now, this is something that I found out once he and I actually did a real estate deal together. But he would have been a prime example of someone that I could have partnered with. Except at that time, he didn't know I was doing real estate, and he also didn't know that it would be something that I would even was interested in. So it took some time for that to develop. But if there are people like him that you guys know about who are financially capable of purchasing that real estate deal, it's another great way for you guys to get into real estate and close on your deals when you're in situations like the ones that I was in. Now, we have a lot more information and a lot more deals to cover, and a lot of different ways in which you can take your contracts and get them closed out if you don't have the means to do them yourselves. So if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and like this video so you can get more content just like this.